Hi everyone, welcome back to Orwell's Digest. A few weeks back, I came across a bit of a tiff between the comedian Jugush and Juacali. And in a tweet, Juacali mentioned that Jugush is his homie, but he's not funny at all. And this sprawled out some comments about whether Kenya's comedy is funny, whether Jugush is funny, and a lot of blows for Juacali. So then I decided this is something worth to look at. So the question was, is Jugush really funny? So there is a very easy way of telling it from a data perspective. A while back, I did an article which was about what's funny about Churchill Live. And I went and downloaded all the episodes on Churchill Live YouTube show, extracted the audios, and then did some, call it acoustic analysis. And the specific term is something known as amplitude envelope, and it tells you when you have a rise and fall in different rhythms, and with the patterns of those rhythms, you can tell which instrument is being played. And since laughter is very different from, let's say, a drum or a violin or a guitar, you can tell where the laughters are, and you can tell how big those laughters are from how large the amplitude is and how long those laughs lasted. So if we took the audios from Jugush, and specifically his show, which I think is called Through Thick and Thin, Season 4, which was being criticized, then if you take the audio and undertake that analysis, you can really tell how funny it was and how long people are laughing for that. But unfortunately, after taking this analysis, I was talking to someone who was doing post-production for the shows, and it's telling me, actually there is artificial laughter that is added into the show, so that the laughter you hear about is either amplified or extended, so it's not really a laughter. So, such a bummer. You can't really tell that, but that's a very great way to tell if how much Jugush is funny and how many jokes had great punchlines. So in the absence of that particular metric, what else can we use to tell how funny it is or how people find his content engaging for that? We go to YouTube. In YouTube, there's one engagement metric known as likes to view ratio. So this is out of all the views that a YouTube video has garnered, how many of them people liked. It's an indicator about how much people appreciate the content, how much they find it incisive, and from a comedy perspective, how much of that is funny for that. So this is as a proxy we can use as a means of how much people laughed in a particular episode or a video. For the YouTube videos. So then until us, now we have the metric. The next thing is, what's the appropriate ratio or threshold for that? According to many years of analysis, YouTube recommends a 4% likes to view ratio. That means for all 100 views, you must have at least 4 likes for each 100 views. So that makes it 4%. If your video is doing less than that, it's considered less engaging, or the audience tend to like less that particular content. The higher it is, the better it has. Other medias like TikTok, I think it has a 1 to 10 ratio, which means for every 10 views, we must have 1 like for your content to be considered likable and to be recommended by the TikTok algorithm. So let's get to the math. Okay, so took data from Jugush's channel from about 2018. The channel started in 2014. So I took about data from 2018, which constituted about 551 videos. And then for each of those videos, computed the likes to view ratio. So when I put it up on a graph on a yearly basis, as you can see, if you aggregate by the year level, he has not reached the threshold of 4%. But then if you go next and break this down at a monthly level, then we can see that in certain months, if you get the average for those months, so for some months, he actually crossed that particular threshold, which means like, okay, some of his content for certain months actually had that good engagement that is recommended by YouTube. So then I ask myself, so in totality, because now we're looking in years, months, so just look at totality. Out of the 551 videos that I looked into, how many of them crossed the 4% mark? Wait for it, it's about 21%, actually 20.5%, which is very respectable. because that means that almost a little bit close to a quarter of his videos get very good engagement or are liked a lot. This. And I was like, kudos. So then I was like, okay, so what really makes these videos likable in comparisons to the other? So I took all the titles for these videos. There are about 119 out of the 551 and looked at what's common about all those videos. And just wait for it. All of them, or majority of them, had the word Cele or Celestine. And I was like, okay, what does this mean? So in Jugush's channel, there are certain episodes where his wife does one-to-one with other women or other people, or she does like some talks, inspiration talks about that. And her name is Celestine Dinda, aka Wakavinye, in some of the videos. And out of the 119, 65 of those feature Celestine in this. So it means the videos that Jugush gets very high engagements, majority of them, about 58%, come from his wife. So if you were to take away his wife, Jugush's likes to view ratios will go poop and down. Okay. Now, this debunks something that Andrew Kibe mentioned, that if you bring your wife into a video, then you lose credibility.
Yeye na demu yako wametoka mbali pia, which is good. I have no problem with that. But over a period of time, as he has developed, I saw him bringing his woman a lot more into his content. And I was concerned because I was like, Njuguna, why are you doing this? It's you we know. Why are you bringing your woman into your content?
But in this case, actually Jugush's channel is being propped up by the wife. Without his wife, he would be less funny. Okay, so now we can say that his 20% engagement, we could knock it down to almost like a 10 or a 9% for that, so which is now teetering into the lower levels of being funny for that. So that sort of makes us a funny conclusion. Is Jugush really funny? A bit lower. Okay, so now ask yourself a good question. If Jugush is not funny, who's the funniest person in Kenya? So let's stick to our likes to view ratio and use it as our metric of choice. In this case, we will focus on comedians who have very high followers on YouTube and have their own dedicated channels, unlike others who, for example, are in Churchill Live and they're within the show. And unlike Eric Omondi, who has almost like veered off comedy for that. So in this case, compile like the top 10 lists for comedians in Kenya by followers, from Abel Mutua to Mamito Eunice to Flaco to Crazy Kenna, Vinny Baite, and do the same analysis and put them in a timeline, as you can see. So we ask ourselves, if we consider likes to view ratio, who is the funniest comedian in Kenya? Hold for it. It is Abel Mutua. Now, Abel Mutua has a lot of videos month-on-month basis that cross that 4% recommended line. He tends to be consistent over time in producing his content. Then number 2 would be Mamito Eunice. She has very good engagements from that. And actually, if we were to consider who has had the best month, that would be Mamito Eunice. In 1 month, his average videos had almost to above 8% ratio, as you can see in the graph. So she is the one who has had the funniest video, if you might say so. And then third in line is Njugush, according to the likes to view ratio. But remember, we said, can we take 58% of those likes from his wife? Then Jugush will fall further down on that list. So we go back to this, like, those are the numbers. If you look at the context of the comedy or the videos that are done. So Abel Mutua is more of a storyteller. He finds a way of telling story. He's not the typical kind of comedy that we expect, either stand-up comedy or that acted comedy that's there. So if we were to consider Abel Mutua as a separate type of comedy or a separate type of content, then the best comedian in Kenya is Mamito Eunice. The context puts it, the numbers show it. Although sometimes she took a hiatus off YouTube and her numbers went a little bit down, but hands down from likes to view ratio, she is the best comedian in Kenya, period. Okay. All right, and now what leaves other comedians like Crazy Kenna, Vinny Baite? Now, in this table that I'm showing you, we look at the likes to view ratio, the average views per episode, and the number of followers. Now, you could see, for example, Flacco, he has almost the highest average views, but his likes to view ratio is very minimal for that, which means a lot of people watch his content, but don't typically like it, right? In this case. Same thing happens to Crazy Kenna. So we could also consider Crazy Kenna to be a little bit of a different type of comedy because he focuses on shorts, not 10-minute, 20-minute videos on YouTube. So that might contribute why he doesn't have a lot of likes. And perhaps his content is more suited to TikTok and perhaps Twitter, where there is better engagement. Like the very awesome video he did about corruption-free zone in Kenya, and making fun of all government agencies. That was hands down perfect for that. So probably this metric doesn't fit him very well to analyze his comedy for that. That's how you have it for this week. That's how you measure laughter. That's how you measure comedy. Until next time, have a great time. Subscribe.